Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for Euro 2020 fantasy football. My name is Dan and today I'm going to share with you some of the best bargain players that you can buy in Euro fantasy football right now. I know a lot of you guys will know of a lot of the big players, but there are some really nice kind of budget differentials, I guess, that you can go for that are really going to improve your team. And not a lot of people are going to know about these budget options, and most people just pick players randomly that they've heard of. But if you learn the players and some of the amazing potential that's here, you know, you're going to have a real advantage over some of your mates. So hopefully we're really going to help you out here and help you fill up your squad with some of those players when you're not got that much money to spend. We're going to help you out, guys, so don't worry about that. And if you do like this video, please do remember to like it and subscribe for regular Euro 2020 fantasy content for the next month or so. It's going to be good, guys. It's going to be really good. So let's get straight into it. We're going to start off with goalkeepers, move all the way through the positions to forwards. We're going through all of them, guys, today. There's loads in store. So for goalkeepers, I've just got one budget option, and that is Hradeski from Finland. He's only 4 million. I think Euro Fantasy, the team there may have accidentally set his price too low. Hradeski didn't play in each of the last 2 international breaks for Finland because he happened to have 2 injuries during these times. Now, this may have caused some people to think that Joronen is the first choice Finland keeper. As Joronen, he's kind of 4.5 million, and Hradeski is 4 million. So I think this kind of mistake presents an opportunity for us guys to go for a real nailed on first choice goalkeeper for the cheapest possible price, which is an absolute godsend. Finland aren't going to be the greatest defence at the tournament. In their last year, they kind of played 9 games and kept 3 clean sheets against Ireland twice and another against Bulgaria, which is okay. They did, however, concede 3 goals against both Wales and Switzerland recently. Finland may be considered one of the weaker teams in their group versus Denmark, Russia and Belgium, but there is a possibility of a clean sheet in there against Russia, maybe Denmark. But at 4 million, literally the cheapest possible goalkeeper you can have, you can't really go wrong here. For defenders, let's start you off with Denier of Belgium for 4.5 million. Now, Belgium are kind of considered one of the favourites of the tournament. They've got a great group versus Russia, Denmark and Sweden. We're probably going to want to have a defensive player from Belgium for this group. So you kind of have Thibaut Courtois. Then Belgium have, they play with a back 3. Courtois 6 million, they got Alderweireld and Vertonghen, they're 5.5 million each. But then we have the third centre back, which is Denier, for an absolute bargain price of 4.5 million. And interestingly, Denier, I kind of think he's just as nailed, if not more nailed, than the other defenders, despite being the cheapest one out of the lot. So don't expect too many goal contributions because he is a centre-back. But interestingly, Denier's only international goal came against Denmark last year. So can he repeat that in match day 2 against Denmark again? Who knows? Kjær from Denmark is 4.5 million. We're kind of 3 players into this video and I'm still talking about players from those Group B teams, but don't worry guys, we'll move on soon. Now, Kjær is the most nailed on player, I guess, in the whole Denmark team, so he's pretty much guaranteed to start every game. The group is fantastic for Denmark, with them being kind of only second to Belgium in terms of pedigree in this little group. And Denmark actually have 8 clean sheets in the past 10 international games, so that's pretty good. So we kind of want a defender from there for sure. Most of the people will probably go for Kasper Schmeichel at 5 million, but a budget-friendly way to save some of your pennies would be to go for this bargain 4.5 million beast instead, which I definitely recommend. Wijndal from Netherlands for 4.5 million, another fantastic bargain. So we're kind of continuing the theme of first choice budget options for those stronger teams here. This guy's a left back who's really made a name for himself over the past year or so. He's got 7 international caps. He already has 3 assists in those international caps. And you think he'd potentially get a few attacking returns in this amazing group. So Ukraine, Austria, and then North Macedonia. Now, Netherlands are going to be by far the favourites in this group. And not only is this young guy the cheapest first choice defender for the Netherlands, but he also has far more attacking potential than the other 2 defenders that I've mentioned in this video. I want to give a few honourable mentions out to some defenders. So there's Elvedi at Switzerland for 4.5 million. He's kind of a first choice centre-back / right-back in a strong defensive team. We've got Barisic at Croatia, 4.5 million again. A left-back he's had a really good season with Rangers. He's kind of establishing himself in the Croatia team. And finally, Nico Williams, again, 4.5 million. Liverpool fans will already know who Nico Williams is. He's got a goal and an assist in his 9 Wales games so far. And I think he will start in that right wing-back position for Wales. On to midfielders, and speaking of Wales and speaking of some familiar names in the Premier League, we do have Dan James of Manchester United for 6.5 million. Now, even though he's kind of been a for a bit of a fringe player at United this season. He's really important as a player for Wales. He plays a very attacking role either on the left or sometimes as a makeshift striker as well. And he actually has 2 goals and an assist in his last 3 international games. These goal contributions were against qualifiers Finland and the Czech Republic too. So these are not exactly weak teams either. So he's been doing pretty well, and he's going to be one of the main players for that Wales team. Next is Yazici. I really hope I pronounced that right. I did look up how to pronounce it. I'm not sure if I got it 100%, but he's a 5.5 million midfielder for Turkey. Turkish people in the comments, you can tell me how to pronounce it, but I think it's Yazici. He's a really good season at Lille this last year in France with 7 goals and 4 assists, so that's really good for him. Although he's kind of more of a second striker, he does actually sometimes play on the wing for Turkey. Now, although he's not been a nailed-on starter for Turkey long term, he has started the last 3 games. One game before last, kind of against Norway, he played as a second striker and he actually managed 2 assists in that game. It looks like he's going to be in Turkey's Euro plans. I suspect he will be a starter, and if so, 5.5 million is going to look like an insane bargain for an attacking starting player in a very strong team as well. Mason Mount for England at 7 million. I'm sure a few of you were wondering when we would talk about our first English player. Now, 7 million might not sound like a bargain on the face of it, but this is Mason Mount. So for this price, it's definitely going to be a bargain. In Fantasy Premier League, you'd probably be like, yeah, get Mount in. He's had an incredible season with Chelsea, so it's going to be the same again here for Euro Fantasy. He seems to have well and truly nailed his spot in the England first 11. He scored 2 goals and 1 assist in his last 4 England appearances. If you go back to his last 12 England appearances, he has 4 goals and 2 assists, so not bad long term. So we're kind of looking at a goal contribution every other game, which is not too bad for 7 million. Honestly though, with his improvement and his importance to this England squad, I do think he can do even better than that in this tournament. Could be a big one. Dani Olmo is 7 million for Spain, and he looks like he's going to be the Spain left winger for this tournament. He's kind of mostly known as a creative player, but he's actually scored 2 goals in his last 2 games for Spain. Football fans in Germany will already know about his talent too, and matches against Sweden, Poland and Slovakia give Spain, I would say, a fairly easy group. They're going to be favourites. There's no other big teams in there, if you like, and arguably, if you're going to go for a Spain attacker, you maybe spend a little bit more money, but if you're not going to spend a lot of money and you do want a Spanish attacker in your team, in terms of budget options, Olmo is definitely the one to go for ahead of the slightly more defensive-minded players like Koke, Llorente, Thiago, players like that. Olmo is definitely the best cheap option in the Spain attack. A few honourable mentions, and we've got Berardi, Italy, 6 million. He's had an insane season with Sassuolo with 17 goals and 8 assists in 30 games. That's just insane. His Italy record is actually really good too, 4 goals and in 10 games. However, we don't know if he's a guaranteed starter, so a little bit risky there. We'll see, I guess. We've got Vlasic from Croatia, 6.5 million. He had a really good season in Russia, plays most of his games for Croatia, and he's kind of far cheaper than the other Croatian attackers, so that could be pretty nice there. We've got Petri for Spain, kind of risky. He has been starting a few games recently, but not sure if it's permanent. He is still 18 years old after all, so give him a chance. And Klasen at Sweden, 7 million. Kind of a Swedish winger with a decent goal-scoring record for them. 5 goals and an assist in his last 7 international starts, which is very nice indeed. For forwards, we've got Kalajdzic at Austria, 7.5 million. Now, 7.5 million may not sound like a bargain, but attackers are just so expensive in Euro Fantasy. That compared to all of those bigger names, this is kind of a really, really good price for a forward in Euro Fantasy. Now, unless you're from Austria or Germany, you probably haven't heard of this guy. He's basically had this insane breakthrough season for Stuttgart, 16 goals and 6 assists in 33 games. He's an insane aerial threat, but he's also really composed in the box as well. And since he's been given a proper chance with Austria in the national team, he's really smashed it there as well. So 2 goals in his first full game for Austria, 1 goal in the game after that. All in all, he's got 3 goals in 5 appearances, including substitute appearances. Now, I think he's got to be Austria's main striker now, and don't underestimate Austria either. They're a decent side with a very good group. Their first game is against North Macedonia, so I'm really expecting Kalajdzic to be on the score sheet right away. He's one of those players that I think could actually become a real household name, a bit of a familiar name by the end of this tournament, and we're all going to be talking about him a little bit more come the end of the Euros. I think it could be a big one for him. Next is Karaman, Turkey, 6.5 million forward. This is a bit of an obscure one because Karaman is kind of a Turkish forward playing in the German second division. His record at club level isn't even that good, but over the last year, he's just been kind of smashing it with the national side, and he's kind of getting rewarded with more starts. So 4 goals and 1 assist in his last 8 international games, all within the last year. That's not so bad at all. He either plays as a striker or on the wing. I don't think he's going to be a world beater this tournament necessarily, but he seems relatively nailed on for most games at the moment, which is kind of rare amongst the 6.5 million price range, amongst forwards anyway. So for that reason, he's got to be a certified bargain in my eyes. Honourable mentions again, we've got Ishak at Sweden for 8 million. I think he's slightly too expensive to be classified as a bargain, but he's a great shout nonetheless. He's almost a bargain, almost. We've got Che Adams at Scotland, 6.5 million. It's too early in his Scotland career to tell how good he's going to be from them. He's only kind of transitioned from being an English person to a Scottish person very recently, but he's an FBL legend for sure, so let's stick him in the honourable mentions. And finally, Wind at Denmark, 6 million. Good striking option if he can get a decent amount of game time, if you can nail down his spot, but he does face competition for his place, so not 100% sure about that one either. And there you have it, guys. There are a bunch of bargains for your Euro fantasy team. I hope this was helpful. I hope I didn't butcher too many of the names too much. I am still learning. Some of these players, you don't hear them a lot when you mostly watch Premier League football, but I'm going to definitely learn some of these names, and hopefully you guys from all around Europe can help me out as well with that. If you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like, subscribe as well if you're new around here, and let me know some of the bargains from your country of who you think might be a really good option for your fantasy team. It'll be really interesting to know what your guys' opinions are from all around the world. That'd be really quite interesting. Guys, I know a few of you have asked about a mini league. I am going to be setting up the mini league tomorrow on Friday during a live stream where I'm actually going to be showing you my team. I'm going to build my team for the very first time in front of you guys on stream, and we're also going to make the mini league there. You can all join it all at once, and we'll see how many people we can get in there. But aside from that, guys, that is going to be all from me today. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later, mates. Bye-bye.